Okay. Everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Shira Davar Hashem. After a wonderful Nate's Minyan and a Rikod, after the davening was Mamash Moiridik. And we're in Likutey Halochos Tzizit. We're in Halacha Hey. We're going to finish up the last line of Tes. All right, we ended off yesterday because we had a little time constraint there, but we get past it every time. All right, so we were talking about this idea about Yaakov Avinu. When Yaakov Avinu went to get the brachas from Yitzchak Avinu, and Yaakov Avinu said, "V'kol kol Yaakov v'yadayim midei Esav." Right, the call, you have the voice. The voice is Yaakov Avinu. He smelled the smell of Gan Eden from the clothing. Today we're going to learn why did Yitzchak Avinu smell the reach of Gan Eden when he smelled the clothing of Esav. We're going to learn today. Unbelievable, right? Why did he smell the reach of Gan Eden? We're going to learn that today. So anyway, the last line in Tes, Ki kol Yaakov hu bechinas chut shel chesed. The whole thing of the voice of Yaakov Avinu, the call of Yaakov, the tefillah of Yaakov Avinu, the tefillah shebedin of Yaakov Avinu. Again, Yaakov Avinu was there, and he was crying to the Rebbeinu Shalom. What am I doing here? He was torn. He was torn. What do I do? My mother tells me to go in. My father, how can I lie? Right? Titin emes liyakov. Right? We just said that down in davening. Right? Titin emes liyakov. Truth was given to Yaakov. So he's saying, what kind of truth is this? What am I doing? I'm going in here dressed up. It's a custom. It's Purim today. Was it Purim? Was it Purim? What was it? I don't know.
He thought it was Purim.
What?
He thought it was Purim.
No. He didn't think it was Purim. No, he didn't think it was Purim. That was the whole point. No. He was torn by that. Right? Okay. But again, Yaakov Avinu was tapped into the chut shel chesed. He tapped into the Rebbeinu. He understood that Hashem, you want me to do this? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that. Shu chut shel tzitzis. That's the chutim of the tzitzis. And again, when we see our tzitzis, we can remember all the mitzvahs. We can remember Hashem. It helps us remind ourselves who we are. Yaakov Avinu did the same thing. That's what he did. Shu tikkun abegodim. She'ein bechinas chalukah d'Rabbanan. But we learned all about this levushim, the shmasa, that's the levushim for the neshama. Again, our main levushim that we prepare in this world is, and all the mitzvahs that we're doing is we're preparing garments, we're preparing food and drinks and everything that we need for our neshama, all physical. We don't mean anything, it's all spiritual. We don't mean anything physical. The drinks that we're talking about is the Tehillim, Rabbi Nachman says, and the food that we eat is the mishnayos that we learn, the mitzvahs that we do, we make the levushim, all for the neshama, for the world to come. That's what we're doing down here right now. We're all tailors, and we're all farmers, and we make drinks, and we do everything. We're preparing all spiritual things. Unbelievable. Shenaisim and reach tov, he gives a reach tov. Now let's go to Yud. Oh, this is such an amazing thing. Watch this. Look at these words here. This is amazing. Ki abegodim shelovash Yaakov Oz, Heim Hayu Big Day Adam Arishan. Wow.
Translate, please. Yeah,
these garments that Yaakov put on, these were the garments that were handed down from Adam Arishan, from Adam. Adam's clothes. Where did those clothes come from? She'asa lahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. She'asa Hashem Yisbach. Hashem made those clothes after the chet. When they sinned, what happened? After they ate from the tree of knowledge, right? What did they do? They said, "Wait a second, we're naked." Well, how come they didn't know before? But their eyes were opened up. Why were their eyes only opened up after they? But then what did Hashem do? Hashem made them clothes. Hashem made them clothes. But that was after the chet. Again, it was after the chet. That's when they got the garments. After the chet, right? Like we said yesterday, after the chet of the egel, Hashem put on the talis. After the Cheder, Hashem put on his talus and taught the Yud Gimel Midas Harachim. He only gave it afterwards, right? After the Cheder, before Cheder Egel, we didn't know about the Yud Gimel Midas Harachim. Only after the Chet, Hashem reveals the Yud Gimel Midas Harachim. After the Chet, so he gave them the garments. K'moshe Kosav, Vayasa Hashem Elikim, L'Adam U'Le'ishtoi, Kosnas Or, Vayal B'Shem. Rabbi Meir had in his Sefer Torah, it was with an aleph, remember? He had it with an aleph, Or. He had Mamish Or. The Gemara brings that down. You remember learning that Gemara? Kosnas Or. This was the Torah writes it with an ayin, but he wrote it with an aleph because again he felt it was mamish the light of Hashem. He mamish felt that way. It was mamash anyway, but that's a side thing. Kosnas are. This was the skins. The skins or whatever you're going to say it was, and he enclosed them. Umeelu abegadim she'asa Hashem la'adam misham nimshachim kol abegadim sheba'olam. Those garments that Hashem made for Adam, that's where all fashion and all garments come from. It started, that was the original garment, made none other than by Hashem, and all garments come after that garment. Everything is a taitzah. It comes out from those garments. That was the original garments. All garments come out from that. All the garments of the world, the real true garments of the world. The true garments of the world, not the stuff that the true garments of the world, garments that you wear for tefillah, garments that you wear when you do mitzvahs, when you learn Torah, garments that when you put on your talis and your tefillin, right? Your talis and tefillin, the tzitzis, tluya b'begadim, is all dependent on garments, right? In other words, you can't have tzitzis without a garment, right? If you don't have that beged that has four corners, if you don't have a beged, you don't have an article of clothes that has four corners, you can't put the tzitzis on it. I mean, you can put the tzitzis on, but it won't be tzitzis. Right? The Torah says it has to be a four-cornered garment, and then it requires a tzitzis. Correct? Everyone agrees?
Mm-hmm. Yes. You know what?
Yeah.
I think that sometimes you need to stop and think about what you just said.
Yeah.
What you just said.
Yeah, I do think about it.
Yaakov was wearing the clothing that Hashem made for Adam.
Yeah.
That is like
wow.
Mind blowing.
That is mine. No. So wait. Well, let's get to the point here. Wait a second. Rav Nosson is building it up now. 1 second. Shehu chias v'shayrish v'tikun kola begadim shmoilam. And the tzitzis, like we learned, is the tikun for all the begadim. Because again, when you put the tzitzis on your garments, and the tzitzis reminds you. When you see a tzitzis, it reminds you about the kisei hakavod. It reminds the tchelet, what is said, the yamsuf, and you realize, wow, what's going on under the sea? Tachlit, yeah. I have no idea, tachlit, and also the yamsuf. I don't understand what's going on. There's a whole world down there. I don't know. And then we look at the shemaim; it's the same color, right? We see the heavens. Wow, what's going up in the heavens? And then we remember the kisei hakavod. That's tzitzis. Ki acha chet shasa lahem Hashem yisbarach begadim, because after the chet of the tree of knowledge of the Eitz Hadas Taiva, after they ate from that tree, after that Hashem made for them garments. He made them garments. Shehem bechinas tzitzis. That's an aspect of tzitzis. Because again, Hashem, they didn't. I don't know if they had tzitzis on them or not. I don't know. But it's an aspect of a garment that Hashem made. And because Hashem made the garment, that's a perfect garment. That's a garment of perfection because it was done by Hashem. Hashem only does everything perfectly. So the same idea to when we have our begadim, our tzitzis, that's a perfect garment. Shehem klolis ha-begadim the kedusha. That's the all-inclusive begadim of holiness. Ki ikka tikunam al yedei bechinas begadim, because the whole thing is through the begadim, through bechinas tzitzis. So again, the tzitzis helps us do our mitzvahs. The tzitzis helps remind us what's important in life. Like we learned, it helps us judge properly ourselves, how to judge everyone else properly. Right? The Kadosh Baruch Hu is mekayimei shalaylam, not this way. And then we understand when we look at people, we judge people in a favorable way. All the things that we learned that tzitzis on. Now he says, Ki Adam Arishan pagam b'achilas eitz hadas, because Adam Arishan, his mistake was, his blemish that he made was that he ate from that tree, eitz hadas, the tree of knowledge. Sha'al yedei zeh higbir mizayne de gufa. That's where the taiva of eating came from. That's where that was the original taiva of achila. They saw the fruit, right? They saw the fruit, they touched the fruit, the senses, right? The only thing they didn't smell it, right? That was the only thing they didn't do. But they used all the other senses, the taste, the smell, the look, all the touch, all the things they used with the fruit. And that's what caused the what do you call it? The taiva of the mazan of the guf. It all came from originally the nachash, the snake, that wicked snake, right? He was naked. The snake was naked.
You didn't make him any clothes either.
Shahatikun, he didn't get any clothes. He got his feet chopped.
Don't we usually translate it like conniving?
What?
Don't we usually translate arum with regard to the snake
It
as
could
conniving?
it could be conniving, but here we're learning about begodim. So here we're going to translate it.
As arum.
Well, how would you spell arum?
No, I've always wondered that about the pasuk because we have arum right in the same.
Yeah, I understand,
But if you look in art school or whatever, they always translate it as like conniving. And
I understand. Okay, all right.
I'm happy.
No. But if you take a look here, we're learning in the parsha of begodim, right?
Right,
The
right.
Breslov made begodim, but like what Mordechai just said, now the snake didn't get any clothes.
Right.
He got his feet chopped off, right? He got his arms and his feet chopped off.
He got dust for clothes.
And he got dust. He got that dirt, right? He got the smelly dirt, right? Shetikin lezeru al yedei hatfila bechinas din shel abal koyach. And the tikkun is against the nachas who arum, against that snake that's conniving and naked. We'll pull him by his both of them.
I'm happy with it.
What?
I was always bothered by the fact that.
No, but it's really one of the same. It's both.
Uh-huh.
It's really both. Bechinas din shel abal koyach sha'idei zeh nimshach kol. That's where the kol comes from. That's where the Yaakov Avinu was the kol Yaakov. That was that tefillah shebedin of Yaakov Avinu davening to Hashem. What do? My mother is telling me I have to go in. My father, how can I cheat my father and say I'm Esav? How can I do that? How can I say I'm Esav? Titin emes leYaakov. She's davening to the Rebbeinu. That's a tefillah shebedin. Because again, Hashem put him in a difficult situation. Yaakov Avinu was put in a very, very difficult situation. He would have rather been sitting and learning. He didn't want to be involved in this. He did not want to get involved in this. But Hashem put him in the same way we find ourselves in situations we don't necessarily want to be involved in. Right? Many times we find ourselves in a situation that we say, well, what am I don't need this. What am I? Wait a second. But that's the perfect time to daven to Hashem. I realize, Hashem, you put me in this situation. You put me in this situation. I think this guy put me in. I think this happened, this situation. This is why. No, you put me in this. The same way Yaakov Avinu understood. Hashem, you put me in this situation. It's not Esav. It's not my mother. It's nothing. It's you, Hashem. You put me in this situation. You put me in there. And he turned to Hashem. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to, always to turn to Him. Not to blame anybody. It's not this one, that one. It's always Hashem. Always return it to Hashem.
It's a private joke. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Not to pay attention to reality.
Reality is it's Hashem. That's the reality.
That's the reality.
That's
Exactly.
reality.
That's reality.
Everything else is
No,
fake.
it's fake. There you go.
Does that mean it wasn't my wife that put me in this situation?
That's
either?
right.
Okay.
Hashem gave.
Every day.
Hamashke Sagan, Shehu Bechina says, Koilecha Shamati Began Va'ira Hanem Hashem. Okay, now look at the next paragraph. This is fascinating. V'zeh Shemedukduk Ata Heitif Siyam HaPasuk Ki Aram Anoichi Ve'eheva. Right? Hainu. Sha'ama Adam Arishon Ki Aram Anoichi Ata. Adam Arishon says, oh, wait a second. We don't have any clothes here. What's going on? Where's my garments? Where's my stuff? Because after the chait, he now felt, I'm not wearing clothes. What happened? But wait a second, a moment ago, he was okay.
No big deal.
Everything was good. But now something changed. What changed? What changed? Why is now he feels he has no clothes, and a moment ago he felt everything was okay? Shekosov, Veyedu ki erumim. They knew him, that they knew, Adam and Chava both knew that they were unclothed. Ki mikoydem lo hayu tzrichim lemalbushim klal. Because before that they didn't need any kind of garments. They didn't need anything. Everything was perfect for them. Everything was great because Hashem made them the way He made them. The way He made them. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, again, the same way we were talking yesterday about the moon and the sun. Remember the moon and the sun, right? The moon was made that size, and the sun was made that size. Came the moon, and the moon complained. There's not enough room for both of us. Hashem said, go make yourself smaller. Here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made man and woman perfect. We were perfect. But again, we made that sin. Now everything has to change. Now everything changes. Ki koydem achet shadayin loy niftach nifkam hadas, because before the chet, their das was not their knowledge. What's the das? Knowing Hashem. We learn what's das. Chaynin hadas. Hashem, let me know it's all hashgacha pratis. That's what is knowing it's all you, Hashem, is das. Das, knowledge, is knowing it's you, Hashem. So before that, loy nifkam hadas. They recognized it was them and Hashem. There was nothing else. There was nothing else. It was just Adam and Chava and Hashem. That's all it was. They were able to recognize their Creator, Yisbarach, b'pnimius hadas, with the inner knowledge, because they understood Hashem just created them. Where'd they come from? They had no mother. They had no. Hashem just created them.
But how would they know that they're supposed to have a mother and a father anyway?
They didn't know. No, but they understood.
They didn't know of any of that.
Of course they didn't know, but they knew that Hashem just, they came about because of Hashem. They understood that. They knew that.
Okay.
Because they knew they weren't here before, right?
So having a baby was a big surprise.
So what did the Nachash do? Told them like this: if you eat from the tree, the same way Hashem made you, and He's a God and He makes things, He doesn't want you to eat from this tree, because if He eats from this tree, so then you can also be a God. Remember? That was the original Avodah Zarah. That's where the original Avodah Zarah was, right? The tree. He turned it into an Avodah Zarah. He turned it into it, right? Eat from the tree, you can become a God also. Amazing, right? But before that, they had Pnimius Hadas. They understood. They were able to have that connection to the Rabbi Shalom so clearly. We can have that also if we have our tzitzis, right? Watch this. Okay. They didn't have to get close to Hashem with their garments. We need our tzitzis to get close to Hashem. We need our garments to get close to Hashem. But they didn't need that. They were mamish close to Hashem. They were mamash close to Hashem because they were made by Hashem and they had that direct connection to Hashem. Shu bechinas shivachim v'seorim habayim ha'yedei hamedameh. All of the stuff that comes through our koyach hamedameh. Again, like we learned, the whole koyach hamedameh, the whole koyach of imagination. Our imagination drives a person, right? That's the driving factor of a person. He's imagining. I imagine I can do this, or I imagine I can't do this. I imagine I want to do this. I imagine I don't want to do this. In every aspect of life, everything. It's all about this koyach hamedameh. Ki hoya makirim oisei yisbarach ayin ba'ayin. Because they understood Hashem eye to eye. Ayin ba'ayin. They were so close to Hashem, they understood HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ayin b'ayin. K'may she'yir la'asid, that it's going to be in la'asid, she'yikuyim v'hayu einecha r'oyes es mayrecha. We're going to be able to see the Rebbeinu Shalom v'lo yikanev oid m'mayrecha. In other words, we're going to be able to be with the Rebbeinu Shalom. We won't have that quarrel going on within inside of us anymore. It'll be clear to us. We'll see the Rebbeinu Shalom, we'll know the Rebbeinu Shalom, we'll know that everything that Hashem does is good. Now we say, Kol ma David Rachman l'tav aviv. We say that now. But it's hard to really understand that with the situations we find ourselves. But when Mashiach is going to come, we're going to mamish understand it. We'll understand why all those situations happen to each and every person, why each and everything. Mashiach will show us. It'll be so much clearer.
And I think we have an example of a person that made the connection like Adam Rishon. It's Moshe Rabbeinu.
Yeah.
Moshe Rabbeinu, in a way, he was with the garment and everything, and he eye to eye. He was there, so he was the מתוקן, the אדם הראשון, the אדם היחיד שמתוקן בעצם.
Okay. He did make a tikkun.
It's a good example.
But the tzitzis is the tikkun for Adam Harishon. The tzitzis is the tikkun. That's the tzitzis.
So each thing brings you to Adam Harishon. I mean,
you what?
Moshe brings you back maybe to Abraham, and Abraham to Noach, and Noach to Adam Harishon. So it makes it all fixing the Adam Harishon things.
Yes.
So that's the idea.
All
the mitzvahs.
All the mitzvahs. It all turns back into tzitzis. So in other words, the garments that Hashem made was an aspect of tzitzis. Those garments. Again, we're focusing on the garments here that Yaakov Avinu put on, that Rivka gave Yaakov Avinu to put on. And again, Yitzchak sensed the sense of Gan Eden. Because where were those garments from? Those garments were from Gan Eden. Where was Adam HaRishon when he got his garments? In Gan Eden. He was in Gan Eden. So the garments had the reyach of Gan Eden. Think about it, right? Those garments had a long trip. They went on a big journey. And Baruch Hashem, they didn't lose the suitcase on the trip, right?
They let him take the suitcase on the plane.
They let him take the suitcase.
The guy couldn't take the violin on the plane.
So here, now, but 1 second. Now let's just one more line, then we're going to stop because David has to start his. But after the chait that we had that pagam in the das, so we weren't able to recognize Hashem ayin ba'ayin. And we got expelled. I think that's the right word to use. We got expelled from Gan Eden, right? We didn't know the way back to the Eitz HaChaim because that was the whole thing. Hashem didn't want us in Gan Eden because that's where the Eitz HaChaim was. And Hashem said, you're not going to live forever anymore. And this way Hashem put the sword, he put the angel there with the spinning sword in front of the Eitz HaChaim and he threw all them out. That's now the whole point is, we'll stop over here. The main point is that today, we can make the tikkun using our garments. We have to understand that what's the main garment that we have, which is our talis, our talis, the tzitzis, and looking at the tzitzis, getting close to Hashem. Have a wonderful day. Cool.